Newly released FBI documents are putting former Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell back in the headlines this morning. Thanks for being here with us today on My Mornings. I'm Vanessa Broussard. The declassified records provide new details about Swalwell's past relationship with Christine Fang, also known as Fang Fang, a woman U.S. officials suspected of having ties to Chinese intelligence. Now, according to the documents, Swalwell told FBI agents back in 2015 that he did have a sexual relationship with Fang Fang on multiple occasions. The files also detail the FBI's concerns about Fang Fang's access to political figures and her efforts to build relationships with up-and-coming American politicians. But that's not all. The records also allege Fang Fang solicited campaign contributions for Swalwell, including foreign nationals. And that right there is against the law. With more on the controversy and newly declassified documents is our White House correspondent, Kara Castronova.
Spies, sex, secrets on Capitol Hill. And it's all real. Straight from an FBI file the Trump administration just declassified on Eric Swalwell, a suspected Chinese operative, a sitting congressman, an FBI code name so ridiculous even a soap opera writer would say, this can't be real, but it is. It's all right here in black and white, straight out of the Bureau's own files. Let's get into it. First, the FBI's nickname for Christine Fang, otherwise known as Fang Fang, while they were secretly trying to recruit her as their own informant, Rusty Thumbs. Here is why the FBI wanted her as a source in the first place. The file says both of her parents were known officers in China's Ministry of State Security, the MSS. Spy parents allegedly raising a spy. Now, the main event. Swalwell told FBI agents that he and Fang Fang had sex multiple times, from around 2012 all the way to March 2015. Swalwell never admitted this publicly, but his declassified FBI file just did it for him. A vivid excerpt straight out of that file. Picture this. It's late at night and Fang Fang is banging on Eric Swalwell's apartment door. A mysterious third person lets her in and she winds up in bed with Swalwell. Swalwell is whacked on Ambien and tells the FBI he, quote, barely remembers what happened next, except that they hooked up and that she left a couple hours later. A former campaign staffer separately told the FBI that Fang once showed up at his door and made it very clear that she wasn't wearing any underwear. And it wasn't just her body that she was selling access with. The file quotes Fang telling one contact she could arrange a meeting with Swalwell for a $5,000 campaign contribution, and that an internship in his office would, quote, cost more. A literal price list for a sitting congressman's time and staff by a Chinese national. Here's where it gets even more serious. Fang got people paid as interns in Swalwell's campaign and his DC office. Possible Chinese nationals, but that has not yet been confirmed. Swalwell's explanation to federal agents, he treated interns Fang Fang vouched for as coming from a Chinese-American civic group, so he didn't bother to put them through the normal vetting process. His words paraphrased, diversity is important, so I didn't ask any questions. One staffer even told the FBI that Fang implied she wanted citizenship rules waived for her friends' internships. So here's the question, America. Was Swalwell not vetting his own interns with access to his office, data, possible donor roles, and so much more because of some noble diversity principle, or because the woman vouching for them was also in his bed? And after all that, the DOJ dropped the investigation into Swalwell and never charged Fang Fang. Not because there wasn't evidence, they say it was because she'd already fled to China. The DOJ official this case landed on, by the way, Public Integrity Section Chief Jack Smith. The same Jack Smith who'd go on to be the special counsel who prosecuted President Trump. Swalwell, for what it's worth, already stepped away from public life for now. He dropped his California governor bid and resigned from Congress back in April over a completely separate set of sexual misconduct allegations from other women, unrelated to Fang. But you have to wonder, is this a pattern? Real question. Is a lawmaker who can't manage his own impulses a national security threat? Should Congress have stricter rules given how exposed these guys clearly are? And why did Democrats run cover for Swalwell and allow him to remain on the House Intelligence Committee given his fatal flaw? And as for Eric Swalwell himself, pass or permanent political timeout. Now that it has been revealed that he admitted sexual relations with Fang Fang to the FBI, should he have been transparent and admitted that to his constituents instead of skirting around the question for close to a decade? And furthermore, was Fang Fang so irresistible that Swalwell should get a pass? If a baseline IQ congressman from California can't resist having sex with an alleged Chinese spy, then can you imagine what other temptations might compromise other politicians? Tell us what you think in the comments below. Reporting for LINDELLTV at the White House, I'm Kara Castronova.
The investigation did not produce sufficient evidence to charge Swalwell with a crime related to the contributions. Swalwell resigned from Congress, if you remember, that was back in April, following separate sexual misconduct allegations, all of which he has continued to deny. And the timing of the declassified documents is significant. Today, California voters in the 14th Congressional District will choose a new representative to complete the remainder of Swalwell's term. Now to the latest in Iran. The 60-day deadline for a broader peace agreement has expired without a deal, and both sides are escalating their rhetoric. We have Dr. Kazem Kazarowian, an Iranian-American engineer, with us this morning. Doctor, good to have you on the show with us this morning. You're an Iranian-American, so you understand the conflict from a perspective that most Americans don't. When you look at where the U.S. and Iran stand right now, how worried are you that this turns into a much larger war?
First of all, good morning, and it's happy to be with you this morning. Look, the simplest way to describe the current situation is that we are in a dangerous armed standoff. This is, as you mentioned, it's not peace, it's not a stable ceasefire. Military strikes, economic pressure, and diplomatic negotiations are all happening at the same time. I look at the Strait of Hormuz. Now, attacks on shipping continues. The United States maintains a major naval presence, and Tehran is trying to use the strait as leverage over the global economy. And I think that in the foreseeable future, unless some of the parameters change drastically, I would expect the same continue for a long time.
And, there's been talk that this isn't going to be a long-term war, but Americans are starting to worry that this may be the case. What is your take?
So, listen, you can bomb all the nuclear facilities, but at the same time, you cannot get rid of Iran's capabilities and technology and the technologists. So, unless there are forces on the ground that would monitor nuclear facilities and nuclear progress in Iran, and you can bomb the hell out of the country, but you cannot get rid of this regime, and this regime must change. This regime, for the sake of the people of Iran, for the sake of the world, this regime must change. So what the and I think that President Trump has recognized that. He has recognized that a long-term war or war on the ground is not possible. And therefore, what are the possibilities ahead of us? The United States have, for the past 4 decades, have oscillated between appeasement and then harsh rhetoric and then bombing Iran. And neither extreme works. There is a third option, and the third option rests with the Iranian people and their legitimate resistance. I think that there is a National Council of Resistance of Iran that has been fighting against this regime for the past 40, 45 years, 47 years actually. Its leader, Mrs. Mariam Rajavi, has had a 10-point plan which calls for a peaceful Iran, non-nuclear Iran, democratic republic of Iran. And that needs to be recognized by the West. They have the forces on the ground. They can be the boots on the ground. Without the boots on the ground, we cannot expect to get rid of this regime. I'm repeating myself, but listen at what happened in Iraq. Now, in Iraq, and we had hundreds of thousands of forces on the ground, and even with that, it was not an easy win. So just imagine what it takes to get this regime with the boots on the ground in Iran. A country this is 4 times, 5 times larger, and both in military and in geography. Therefore, it is extremely important for the West to recognize the legitimate resistance. In the absence of that recognition, I think that we are giving this regime the signal that you are the only force, the only alternative that we can deal with. And regime is very, the Iranians negotiate not honestly, but in a very tricky way. And I think that President Trump has mentioned that repeatedly. And therefore, negotiations with them are completely useless. It buys them time. There's only one way ahead, one correct way ahead for the West, and in particular for the Americans. And I hope that it is recognized and is taken.
You know, Doctor, you were talking about the regime, and you're absolutely right. This has to be very hard when it comes to negotiations because you're not talking to a regime with morals. They have criminal minds. They're not normal like you and I think, not like the West thinks. They just want to destroy and kill. That is their mentality. And so to try to negotiate with them is very hard to do. You know, I don't know how we're going to move forward with two people, a group that's sane and a group that's insane. What do you think the Iranian people themselves want right now? In the beginning, they were very happy. We talked to many people here on the show from Iran and those who have also come to America from Iran. They still have family there. They were very happy that President Trump was finally doing something about this. We finally have a president who was doing something about this regime, but months have passed and you know, it almost seems like are we going to have any headway here? So what are the Iranian people wanting right now?
So you're absolutely right that there was a false hope at the beginning of the war in some of the Iranians inside Iran that President Trump's attack in the United States and Israel's attack on Iran is going to result in a quick win. I have said that, and a lot of people who are familiar and knowledgeable about the situation in Iran, we have been saying that this regime cannot be removed with bombardments from air. We need heavy boots on the ground. Again, I'm sorry, I'm repeating myself, but without that, in the absence of that, people have realized that there is no way to get rid of this regime, and only more hardship is imparted on the Iranian people. Now they are in a very terrible economic situation. They are mostly out of electricity during the days and nights. There's a water shortage. Basically, a lot of infrastructure and facilities have been destroyed. So Iranians are under a lot of hardship, but the regime is not. Now, this regime transfers all the hardship to the Iranian people, and they themselves are actually, although the 50 of the top leaders are taken out, including the former supreme leader, and the current supreme leader is missing in action. But the rest of them, which is mainly the Pashtun and the Revolutionary Guards, seem to be enjoying the situation, and they want the situation to continue. So the Iranians actually right now want the regime change, but they don't want war anymore.
And I don't think anyone wants war. And I think President Trump is doing everything he can to avoid having to put boots on the ground. But we're going to have to wait and see if that's what's going to be in the near future. Because again, this 60-day window has expired with that ceasefire deal. Our country is split, Doctor. You know, you have people who want a new regime for the Iranian people, but then you have people in America, the left and some rhinos who say, you know, we shouldn't be in this war at all. What is the president doing? What does the public, the American public, misunderstand most about Iran?
Well, firstly, sometimes the Iranian people are mistaken or mixed up with the regime that governs them, and that is a mistake. The Iranian people want a peaceful Iran, an Iran in which there is democracy, there is a democratic republic governing them, and therefore the Americans hopefully should side with the Iranian people. The other thing that the Americans don't realize is that there cannot be a quick military win. And sometimes you look at the left in this country, and for whatever reason, they're anti-American, anti-imperialist, whatever mentality they have, they side with the enemy of the United States. And that is a mistake. And we have seen that in many organizations and many politicians in past. And that is a major mistake. That is a mistake that will lead into disastrous situations. The bottom line is that this regime must go. It cannot go with appeasement. This regime will not go with quick wars. The only way that this regime can be gotten rid of is the Iranian resistance, the legitimate resistance, and there is one on the ground, National Council of Resistance of Iran. They've been fighting this regime for the past 47 years. Its leader, Mrs. Mariam Rajavi, has put out a very clear 10-point plan for transition to peace and democracy. And actually, there has been multiple congressional resolutions supporting her and supporting her plan for the past few years, including Congressional Resolution 166, which came out, I think, about last year, that the majority of the Congress supported Mrs. Mariam Rajavi's desire and plan for a democratic Iran.
Let's talk about the Strait of Hormuz. All eyes on the strait. We've been watching it closely. President Trump says we have complete control of the strait. He spoke about it yesterday from the White House. Let's take a quick listen of what he had to say.
I just think it's a great idea. Yeah, I mean, we control it. We control it with the blockade. We have a blockade. We control it with the blockade. And I like the idea of declaring it a territory.
Why might you do that?
We have total control over the strait. Now, they can be a nuisance. They can put a mine in the water, and people don't like having mines hit their billion-dollar ships, et cetera. But the blockade has been very effective. And, we're taking out, now maybe that will stop, or maybe it'll open up even further, but we're taking out millions of barrels of oil a week. If you look at the kind of numbers that we're doing, the strait is open, and the oil prices are coming down, and they will continue to come down unless we decide to do something far more drastic than we're doing. Iran is in big trouble. They have 300% inflation. The country's a mess, and the military is totally defeated.
Doctor, what happens if Iran decides to escalate in the Strait of Hormuz?
So firstly, I admire President Trump's optimism. However, the Iranian regime is weakened. They are not eliminated. And a weakened dictatorship is dangerous. If they are pushed in a corner, if they become too desperate, they would use their proxies. They have a strong proxies in Yemen and other areas close to Gulf, and they're going to use them, and they're going to take actions that are unpredictable. And but one thing that is clear in my mind is that they're not easy to deal with, and they cannot be underestimated. I would expect some harsh actions from the Iranian regime if they're not controlled.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. President Trump also, this is new this morning, criticizing South Korea for not doing more to support the U.S. in the war with Iran. Let's listen again. He spoke about that, South Korea, yesterday in the White House. Let's listen to that and then get your reaction on the other side.
Why hasn't Kim Jong-un responded to your request to have a conversation?
How do you know he hasn't responded?
Has he?
Yeah, he has.
Did you speak to
Where
him?
are you in conversation?
And very positive. Well, just so you understand with South Korea, look, South Korea has been protected by us for many, many years. And during my first term, they agreed to pay close to $3 billion a year for protection because we don't, they essentially weren't paying. And I asked them to do that at my request. I said, not right. They weren't happy about it, but they agreed. I asked for $10 billion, and they were very unhappy. But we agreed for a short term that it would be $3 billion, and next year it would go up, and the next year it would go up, so they start paying for their protection. When the election was rigged and I ended up watching for 4 years and then coming back, I watched Biden rescind that $3 billion here for whatever reason. When I called recently the president of South Korea, who I like, I think he's very nice actually, but I called him, I said, would you like to give us a little hand? We don't need help with Iran, but if you'd like, give us a hand with Iran. He said, no thanks. And I said, wait a minute, we have 39,000 soldiers over there guarding you from Kim Jong-un, your next door neighbor, and you're not going to help us on a very easy military operation in Iran? That's strange. No, we'd rather not get involved. I say, well, why are we involved in helping you? So, and I want to help them, but, you know, when you ask somebody, would you like to give us a hand, and they say, no thanks, and then we're guarding them from a country and paying ourselves billions of dollars, it's costing us billions and billions of dollars to protect not only them, but other countries. Look at NATO. We spend hundreds of billions of dollars protecting Europe from Russia. Hundreds of billions, mostly from Russia, but from other things too. And then they say, well, they don't want to get involved with guarding the Strait, where they get most of their oil. They get 50% of their oil, and they don't want to get involved. Why are we doing it? So all I want is fairness. And South Korea, I get along with them very well, but they were paying $3 billion a year, and then they convinced Biden that I was probably a bad person, and they shouldn't, and he immediately rescinded that order. So we were getting paid. We would have been getting paid a lot more, but we can't go around and protect all of these countries, especially when they're not there to help us.
Dr. Kasem, what's your take? Are we starting to see countries around the world being forced to choose sides here?
Well, President Trump is right in the sense that the rest of the civilized world cannot just benefit from cheap oil that comes out of Iran and then close their eyes on Iran's terrorist actions and Iran's dictatorship over their own people and all sorts of mischief that the Iranian government does. The rest of the world needs to take a strong position against the current regime, and they need to participate in embargoes, in whatever legitimate action that the world can take to control this regime and get rid of this regime. At the same time, governments like China are really using and abusing this situation. They're expanding their relation with the Iranian government. They are sending all sorts of technology and support to Iran. And even now, closer to Iran, if you take a hard look at countries like Pakistan or some of the other regional governments, they need to take a very strong position against the current regime. They cannot benefit from both sides, and they cannot expect the United States to police the Gulf, police the region, and they benefit from the cheap oil that comes out of Iran and also sell their stuff to the Iranian regime. So President Trump is right in expecting that the world should take a stronger position.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Dr. Kasem Kazaronian, thank you so much for stopping by today and giving us your take with the latest going on in Iran. We appreciate it.
It's wonderful to be with you. Thank you, and have a great day.
You too. Jared Kushner gave Fox News some significant information with comments on Iran and Gaza. On Iran, Kushner says U.S. talks are more robust than ever, but there is still no agreement. He says Iran has shown no interest in accepting what the Trump administration considers a fair nuclear deal.
Today we had a very, very good meeting. We were there for almost 4 hours with him and his team going through all the different details. I think there were some valid concerns that they raised that we were able to address, and we were able to go through some of the misunderstandings and misinformation that's been out about it as well. I mean, certain things like we're very committed to the fact that we have a plan to rebuild Gaza, but we will not allow Gaza to be rebuilt until the demilitarization occurs. Nobody wants to put more money into a place that's gone on for so long until if it's just going to be taken over by terrorists or blown up again. We're also not going to restrict Israel's right to defend itself if there are any imminent threats, and so we had to clarify what that means. We could be seeing progress, in as much as in as little as 30 days, hopefully on starting to take some of the weapons out, and hopefully filling in some of the tunnels as well in the next 60 to 90 days as well. So progress could come quite soon, but we do need cooperation from both sides, and we're going to hopefully get through it. But we've made a lot of progress to get here. For Israel, we think this is a win-win situation because if Hamas actually gives over the weapons and the tunnels, willingly over the next 60 to 90 days, that obviously would be the elimination of a huge security threat for Israel, almost an unthinkable achievement. And if they don't follow through now on their commitment, everyone will see that they're not genuine about peace, and then Israel will have a lot more support from the U.S. and others to go and finish the job in the appropriate way.
You met with Hamas officials yesterday. Do you think they're genuine about peace?
I mean, they said all the right things, but obviously it's very, very hard to trust, a terrorist organization that committed these terrible atrocities. But we had a very cordial meeting, and they said all the right things. And so we're going to give them a chance to perform, but it's going to have to be based on actions and steps. And I hope it will be true.
Kushner says Hamas must disarm. Gaza will not be rebuilt until that happens, and the U.S. will not restrict Israel's ability to defend itself if Hamas refuses. All right, we turn our attention now to outer space. 2 astronauts are stepping outside the International Space Station as we speak. You're looking at live pictures for a spacewalk. This spacewalk is expected to last just over 6 hours. It began about 45 minutes ago. We have live pictures right here from NASA. Let's take a live look in and watch the 2 astronauts venturing outside the ISS to replace a space-to-ground communications antenna. Watch.
For Sophie, as you get the heat shield into the ORU bag, your next step is going to be to retrieve the gimbal locks, and for installation, you can either BRT in position and then grab them from the ORU bag, or if you need to grab them and then translate up and get in position, that's fine too.
So I'm going to wrap myself to the gimbals. I just folded the heat shield inside out so that it doesn't get more damage. And I'm going to tuck it under the integral adjustable here so that it's really well protected.
We like that config. Thank you.
The tethers are unwound. I'm headed to the anchor point.
Copy. Good work. So you'll be putting the green hook on the NTA handrail above mile marker 6870. It's just to the inboard side of the stanchion that says 07.
This is Mission Control Houston. As we approach the 1-hour mark in today's spacewalk, the reports are very, very good. The crew is right on the timeline as they work their way to remove the heat shield along the boom of the space-to-ground antenna location on the Z1 truss. Also, their suits are operating as advertised. No issues reported so far in today's spacewalk. The 282nd in support of space station assembly, maintenance, and upgrades. In this view, you see Neil Menon wearing...
That antenna they're replacing is very important. It helps maintain the high-speed data and communications link between the space station and mission control here on Earth. And we'll take another live look in and check in on the astronauts in just a little bit, so stick around for that. It's always so exciting to watch NASA in action. And that's not all that NASA is up to. Their next space telescope will launch in just under 2 weeks.
NASA is about to send a powerful new telescope into space.
Get ready for NASA's new view of the universe and the Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope with a special limited series of NASA's Curious Universe.
Roman has a wide field of view that will capture a huge swath of the sky.
We dive into the science behind the Roman Space Telescope.
No PhD required.
So you're asking for the 10-second description of how the universe entirely works.
Roman will investigate a mysterious force called dark energy.
That's super exciting, potentially Nobel Prize-winning science.
Roman will also discover and study planets beyond our solar system.
These planets are so incredibly faint that we are getting one little smudge to try to tease out what the atmosphere might be made of.
We'll also meet the engineers who make NASA space telescopes.
We're building one-of-a-kind satellites. It's never been built before. No one's going to build this again.
The most exciting science is going to be the thing that you didn't expect.
Every single image is going to be a sea of stars and galaxies. And, you know, it'll be the first time we've ever seen it in this way.
The Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope launches soon.
And then the fun really begins.
To follow NASA's quest of space exploration, visit nasa.gov. Lots of fun stuff to follow there. Well, President Trump, he honored a young hero at the White House. The president welcomed a California lifeguard, Ryder Williams, to the Oval Office. Remember him? We showed you this video. The president recognized him for his heroic actions that saved a little boy's life. That little boy was also sitting by the president with his family, as you can see right there. The president highlighted Williams's courage and quick thinking during an emergency.
So first of all, a lot of people are very inspired by what you did. Can you tell us what was going through your mind at those dangerous moments, and what would you like to do in the future? How has this experience as a lifeguard shaped you?
In those dangerous moments that we have, we always try to fall back on our training. We are trained so well by many to handle that situation as best we can. So I really am just thinking about how to get the boy out of the water as fast as I can. And for shaping my future, I want to be a firefighter in the future, hopefully go through paramedic school. And
he's off to a good start. We'll give him recommendations. We may have some good recommendations. And it's an honor to be with Ryder Williams, who is a 16-year-old lifeguard, California, the Santa Cruz area. And I understand he was a winner right from the time they first saw him as a lifeguard. A lot of training, a lot of work. And he saved this young gentleman who I had a long talk with. I said, would you have made it without him? And he said, not really, right? Not really, it was trouble. Yeah. So you're going to have a long and beautiful life. Thank you. And I just thought we were all watching, everybody watched, and got a lot of publicity because of the ferocity of the waves. I've never seen waves. I mean, that was sort of violent. We were just discussing, and at certain times of the year, mostly like right around now, the waves get very rough in that area. And they're swirling, and if you don't know what you're doing, it's going to be tough, or if you're small, if you're young. So I just want to congratulate Nathaniel Ray for coming through an ordeal. That means you're going to have good luck in life. You know, that's called good luck. I want to say hello to your father, and came along for we invited them to the Oval Office and to the White House. After this, if you'd like, we're going to have them brought up to the Lincoln bedroom, where you see the room of Abraham Lincoln. That's pretty good, right? And also your sister. It's really nice.
Such a nice moment. That moment putting a spotlight on the life-saving work lifeguards do every day and recognizing one young man who stepped in when it mattered most. American Speed. We are less than a week away until the Freedom 250 Grand Prix. More on that next here on My Mornings. But first, a look at Secretary of War Pete Hegseth with our troops. We'll be right back.
It's an honor to be here. This is the best view, I'm convinced, looking out at all of you. It's not me, it's you guys. It's all of you. It's what you're ready to do. It's what the world knows you're prepared to do. You could be doing a lot of other things. You choose to serve. You choose to serve this great country in uniform, in harm's way, on behalf of the American people. And because of what you do and how you do it, I can sit at a table and talk about American deterrence and American strength. Godspeed in your mission. You got a lot of good stuff ahead. On behalf of the American people, we're with you all the way. Go get it. God bless. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, hello, everyone. Well, I'm turning 65, and let me tell you, Medicare has me confused. All the junk mail and the robocalls and everything else, it honestly feels like they rigged the system just to confuse us. Well, that's why I partnered and working with Chapter. They're independent, and they don't work for big insurance. They work for us. In fact, they're the only advisor that compares every single plan nationwide to find what actually fits your needs. If you're on the right plan, they tell you. If you're not, they're going to help you switch. And it's completely free. Just last year, seniors saved about $1,100 by finding a better plan with Chapter. So call Chapter at 234-LINDELL or go to askchapter.org/Lindell. You know, most people think water's just about filtration, but in reality, it's about balance. What gets removed, what gets left behind, and how the water actually behaves once you drink it. Well, many traditional systems focus on one thing, removal. Reverse osmosis, for example, strips water down completely. It may sound ideal, but it removes minerals that our bodies need. The Century Wellness System was designed with a different philosophy. It removes common contaminants like chlorine, fluoride, and PFAS while restoring key minerals like magnesium and improving alkalinity. It also does all this without tanks and without wastewater and without requiring a complicated installation. It installs in about 15 minutes under your sink, so instead of overcorrecting, it brings your water back into balance. Please visit CenturyH2O.com and use promo code Lindell for 10% off your next purchase. Mike Lindell here. The radical left and the deep state aren't just coming for our freedoms, they're coming after our money too. For years, they've been destroying our economy from the inside out with reckless spending, open borders, woke policies that crush our businesses. And now they've left us with an inflation disaster that's wiping out the savings of our hardworking families. They don't want us to be independent. They want us to be dependent on the government. Well, that's not going to happen on my watch. That's why I partner with American Independence Gold. It's a veteran-owned company that's helping patriotic Americans fight back by protecting our savings with real physical gold and silver. And right now, they're giving away up to $15,000 in free silver and a free gold IRA kit. A portion of all the profits go to 9/11 first responders and veterans at the Tunnels to Towers Foundation. The deep state can't touch your gold, so visit MikeLindellGold.com or call 844-714-4653 right now. That's MikeLindellGold.com. Take back control.
The Freedom 250 Grand Prix is now just a few weeks away. It's something that we've never seen before.
Here's the deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I'm just excellent.
Freedom won't just ring this summer, it will also rev.
The historic course will showcase the country's most iconic buildings and monuments. There's a big, hairy American winning machine. You ain't first, you're last.
Game's over. Never see it again. Why not? To the beach.
Love that license plate. The Freedom 250 Grand Prix is this week. Mark your calendars, August 22nd and 23rd. And also in DC, beautiful artwork is on display. Our Cara Castronova is with Aaron Scavino at the Art Museum of the Americas.
Hey everybody, Cara Castronova with LINDELLTV here with Erin Scavino.
New name. Everyone's got to get used to it now. I'm getting used to it too.
She was known before as Erin Elmore, so a very popular person in MAGA world, and now the director of the embassies and museums.
Director of, it's a hard one. So it's the director of art and embassies at the U.S. Department of State.
And she's having a lot of fun. We're here at the museum today checking
the
out
Art Museum of the Americas. We have a 3-month exhibition.
And it's great. I'm enjoying the photographs, the pictures of the American flags, these beautiful paintings. And you guys did a really great job putting everything together. Can we talk about some of the artwork in this room?
Absolutely. So behind us right here is what I call a Yankee Doodle. It's by Tim Yankee. You see what they did there? And he was inspired by 9/11 to put a flagpole in his backyard with his son. So he wanted to create artwork that, remembered the tragedies of that day, but also brought some light and some joy. And also inspired by 9/11. So these are by,
I love this,
Brendan Murphy, who was a professional basketball player and Wall Street trader who gave it all up after 9/11 to be an artist. So he custom made these for this exhibition, and he wanted to think about what words reminded him of America after 250 years. And you can see so many different things: pride, freedom, courage, power, innovation. And I just think it's so inspirational, and there's different shapes, and I really think it's
very self-ruled. There's some ones aren't as obvious, and fascination.
Right. And when you look at art, that's what's so beautiful about art. The more you look, the more you learn and the more you see. And I learned a lot about curation in my almost 2 years in art and embassies, that you see the Jackson Pollock style splatters on the painting. So curation lately, you go over here and there's more splatters on this painting. And this one makes me feel like I've never accomplished anything, because we call him Baby Basquiat. He is only 18 years old with this level of talent. And he started painting when he was 14 years old and sold paintings out of his garage in California. And I know you know about this one with our dear friend Scott Lobiato, and I'm sure he told you everything you needed to know. But the thing that I love about it is that he's a live painter. He's a Magnifier brand. And you've probably seen the doors to this museum. They're this big. And we had to unframe, unstretch, bring it in, restretch, reframe. So thank God for Scott, because it's such a showstopper.
It is
such a showstopper. Let's go in one more room. You want to?
Yeah. So how long has this museum been around?
So it was a building in 1912 where an ambassador basically lived. And then in 1976, it became a museum, which was our 200th birthday. And I love that we're here for the 250, so the 70s. So this is another one of my favorite rooms, but they're all my favorite. This is what we call the American Dream and Grace Kelly. So Grace Kelly was from Philadelphia. She was a famous actress. She won an Oscar, then she became a princess. Like if that's not Americana, I don't know what is. And this one here, and there's another one also behind you by the same artist. They're Carlos Mares. Now, Carlos has calmed down in his older age. He used to be called Carlos Nightmare. But he was inspired by 80s breakdancing, graffiti, musical notes. And when I think of musical notes, I think of this. And breakdancing, I think of this, an old school boombox, right? You don't see those anymore, but I love the way he juxtaposes something that is antiquated and making it look so modern. And another young artist is Sophia Bonu. She is 24 years old, and she is using acrylic paint and pen. And finally, I have one that I know you're gonna love. This is a Fur de Silva. Fur came here from Venezuela and escaped communism, and he was depressed, and he said, I'm going to start painting to combat my depression. And what I love is he's painting hearts, and it's such optimism and happiness. And when he live paints, he wants the audience to be involved, and they do sprinkles, or they add colors, or they do splashes. And I think that collaboration also really has helped him with all of his adversity, and he's just so proud to be an American and loves this country.
So how can people find out more about the museum, and people that are visiting Washington, D.C., how can they visit?
They can go, well, anyone can come. It's open to the public, family friendly and free, which I love. Because when you have kids, you want them to see things that aren't terrifying or too much nudity. My first rule was nothing naked.
Right,
nothing naked. And I understand a naked Renaissance painting if you're in Italy or something, but these modern museums, it's grotesque. It's talking about the worst of America. I wanted us to talk about the best of America.
I love the downstairs, and I'll show you the audience later. We'll get some shots, the sort of photographs of all different parts of America, sort of with American flags in the background. And then there's some paintings of presidents. But are those AI?
Brandon Ralph is the artist and photographer. He trained AI in his style of photography over a 9-month period to imagine what our founding fathers would look like today. And he calls it the first photographs of our founding fathers.
I love it. I mean, you can see the freckles on their noses and sort of the details in their skin.
I can get the Andrew Father shirt.
Who is your favorite founding father?
Oh, goodness. I'm on the spot. Well, I'm from Philadelphia, so I have to say Ben Franklin.
Me too. I love him. And his picture, he was my favorite. I heard he was sort of the one who saved America because he was the one who was able to secure all the funding for the weapons.
You know far more than I do. I just remember him going to Paris and partying.
That's what he did, but he was on the DL securing money by being social. Everybody looked at him as like the great American inventor. They wanted to invite him to parties. Women loved him for some reason. I don't know.
It was a Fox back then.
Right. So they would invite him and convince their husbands to donate a lot of money. And he sent it back to George Washington when we were in dire straits for weapons. So they say he was sort of the reason we won the American Revolution, but he was never president.
I love that we learn something new every day. I love it. Well, thank you for coming and helping me make art great again.
It's a great ad. And what else is in store for the 250? I know this is the last year. Anything?
I mean, well, I'm only responsible for my museum, but we do partner with Freedom 250. I know that there's a big indie race.
There is one, yeah.
At the end of August.
And is President Trump going to come tour the museum here?
I hope so. He knows about it.
So we want him to see the Scott Libato so that he puts it in the big, beautiful ballroom.
Oh my goodness. You're such an idea woman. You know so much. That is a great idea. Because I was thinking like one of these great corporations would buy it for their lobby. That's even better.
That will look great in the big, beautiful ballroom. And it's a bipartisan thing. I don't think that the next Democrat, unless they...
anything we like, they don't like. So if we like the flag, then they don't like it.
Well, congratulations on your marriage. Congratulations on the wonderful job that you've done with this museum. Everything looks beautiful. Please come check out the museum.
The Art Museum of the Americas. It's on 18th Street. It's one of the closest museums to the White House. And out back, if you have a chance, there's a giant 20-foot spaceman sculpture. It's got to see it.
We'll go check it out. Thank you so much, Erin. Thank you.
What a nice museum. All right, when we come back here on My Mornings, Hawaii is slammed by a hurricane. A mess is left behind. We will take you to the Big Island next.
Welcome to Vocal, the free speech social app that gives you a platform to amplify your voice. Speak freely, connect boldly, and be part of a growing movement for truth, faith, and freedom. Want to know what's happening right now? The Now Playing feature shows you exactly who's live and what's streaming in real time. Check out the show's feed, a non-stop lineup including LINDELLTV News 24/7, shows and on-demand programming all in one place. Connect with your favorite host and never miss a show. Explore the featured page for quick access to LINDELLTV's top shows. Follow your favorites and watch their newest content flow right into your feed. And when they go live on Vocal, you can join the live chat and be part of the action. Ask questions, share your thoughts, even help shape future shows. Stay informed on issues around securing our elections by following your state's Cause of America account. Join a group and connect on a deeper level, from faith and freedom to the future of our nation. Go to vocal.com or download the app today and be a part of the mission to save our country.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
I guarantee they're going to be the most comfortable pillows you'll ever own. King size only $24.98, queen size only $19.98. Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, as low as $29.98. Lux Pier 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept. Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. Plus free shipping options available when you order today. So don't delay, order now.
Back here on My Mornings, HHS is taking bold new actions against Lyme disease, accelerating research, improving care, and driving new treatments. Here's more from Secretary Kennedy.
Hi, I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., your HHS Secretary. I'm joined today by my good friend, actor, and patient advocate, Dennis Quaid. Today, we're announcing bold new actions by the Trump administration to improve care, accelerate research, and speed innovation for Americans living with Lyme disease, with alpha-gal syndrome, and other tick-borne diseases. Too many Americans spend months or even years searching for answers. Too many are misdiagnosed, and too many go untreated. We're changing that.
Nearly 500,000 Americans are diagnosed and treated for Lyme disease annually,
And behind every one of those numbers is a person, a family, and a community looking for answers. I know how devastating that search can be. My good friend, the late Chris Christopherson, spent years living with a diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease. But Alzheimer's wasn't the problem. He actually had Lyme disease. And when doctors finally diagnosed him correctly in 2016 and started the right treatment, his symptoms did improve. His story isn't unique, and that's exactly why these new actions matter. That's why HHS is investing millions in innovation to develop AI-powered tools that improve patient care, enable earlier diagnoses, and accelerate research to help eradicate Lyme disease and other tick-borne illnesses. And we're already delivering results. Over the past 2 years, HHS has worked with the LymeX community to help bring 2 improved FDA-cleared Lyme diagnostics to market, giving clinicians better tools and helping more patients get an accurate diagnosis sooner. And we're also making it easier than ever for patients, that's you out there, to help move the science forward. If you've had Lyme disease and recovered, or if you were diagnosed with Lyme disease but still suffer lingering symptoms, please share your experience through Cure ID. That's the free FDA and NIH app and website that collects real-world treatment information. And every story shared gives researchers more data, strengthens future clinical trials, helps eliminate misdiagnosis, and improves care for the next patient. And if you don't yet have a trusted Lyme clinician, we've made that easier too. Visit hhs.gov/Lyme and use the Lyme Clinician Locator to find experienced providers near you using your zip code. Together, we can advance science, improve care, and give more patients the answers they deserve. We want to get back to a country where families can enjoy the outdoors again, where kids can spend their summers exploring the woods, camping, fishing, hiking, and playing outside. And parents don't have to wonder whether a single tick bite could change their child's life forever. That's how we make America healthy again. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Around 476,000 Americans are diagnosed and treated for Lyme disease each year. Lyme disease is the most common vector-borne disease in the United States. It's caused by a bacteria transmitted through the bite of an infected tick. All right, let's take a quick look at Wall Street opening bell numbers. As you can see right now, the Dow, the S&P 500, and the NASDAQ all down at this hour, seeing a lot of red. And that is a live look from MarketWatch.com. In your news to go as you start your day, Hurricane Lala has moved away from Hawaii and is now weakened to a tropical storm, but the damage, especially on the Big Island, is significant. Residents are starting to clean up after catastrophic flooding. More than 40 inches of rain fell in some areas. Tens of thousands remain without power at this time. In Washington, here's a look at the president's schedule today. At 8 o'clock, he held an executive meeting. And then look at that, a full day ahead of policy meetings back to back all day long. Make sure you're following us on social media and online at LINDELLTV.com for all your news updates throughout the day. And you can also download the LINDELLTV app. It's free in your app store, on your phones, and on your tablets. And you can also follow me on social media. I am there. Like and subscribe. I am on X, Truth Social, Vocal, Instagram, YouTube. Make sure you like and give me a follow on my pages. Would love to connect with all of you. And we leave you today with our Bible verse of the day from the book of Psalms. Cease striving and know that I am God. The Bible says, I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our stronghold. And that'll do it for us here this morning. Thank you so much for watching today. We'll see you all same time, same place tomorrow. And we leave you with more live pictures from outer space as 2 NASA astronauts repair an antenna outside the International Space Station. Here's a live look. Have a great day.
Sophie, it was a good call to just wait. I don't think this has been something you could have resolved.
Yeah, there's a big delta. It's not a small alignment issue.
Nell,
we are at the Z1 back-off position. As you know, we're ready for the GCA to the bolt access position on your go.
Yeah, go for the bolt access.
Okay, we are going to be bringing you body in, and we would like you to help keep your clearance from the SCAT antenna.
Okay. Ready for body in, and I'll keep clearances on there.
Starting motion in 3, 2, 1.
Motion and good motion, and I've got good clearances. I've got a meter from the T-handle, the hand extended. Clearance, please. Good. I've got a meter distance. I'm personally moving my body nadir, so I've got good clearance. Got half a meter clearance, good line of sight. Got good clearance.
And I cannot see any more of the SEPA antenna, so I cannot check anymore. Have clearance on the SEPA.
Copy. And I've got good clearance from the SCAT.
Well, hello, everyone. Well, I'm turning 65, and let me tell you, Medicare has me confused. All the junk mail and the robocalls and everything else, it honestly feels like they break the system just to confuse us. Well, that's why I partnered and working with Chapter. They're independent, and they don't work for big insurance. They work for us. In fact, they're the only advisor that compares every single plan nationwide to find what actually fits your needs. If you're on the right plan, they tell you. If you're not, they're going to help you switch. And it's completely free. Just last year, seniors saved about $1,100 by finding a better plan with Chapter. So call Chapter at 234-LINDELL or go to askchapter.org/Lindell. You know, most people think water's just about filtration, but in reality, it's about balance. What gets removed, what gets left behind, and how the water actually behaves once you drink it. Well, many traditional systems focus on one thing, removal. Reverse osmosis, for example, strips water down completely. It may sound ideal, but it removes minerals that our bodies need. The Century Wellness System was designed with a different philosophy. It removes common contaminants like chlorine, fluoride, and PFAS while restoring key minerals like magnesium and improving alkalinity. It also does all this without tanks and without wastewater and without requiring a complicated installation. It installs in about 15 minutes under your sink, so instead of overcorrecting, it brings your water back into balance. Please visit CentryH2O.com and use promo code Lindell for 10% off your next purchase. Mike Lindell here. The radical left and the deep state aren't just coming for our freedoms, they're coming after our money too. For years, they've been destroying our economy from the inside out with reckless spending, open borders, woke policies that crush our businesses. And now they've left us with an inflation disaster that's wiping out the savings of our hardworking families. They don't want us to be independent. They want us to be dependent on the government. Well, that's not going to happen on my watch. That's why I partner with American Independence Gold. It's a veteran-owned company that's helping patriotic Americans fight back by protecting our savings with real physical gold and silver. And right now, they're giving away up to $15,000 in free silver and a free gold IRA kit. A portion of all the profits go to 9/11 first responders and veterans at the Tunnels to Towers Foundation. The deep state can't touch your gold, so visit MikeLindellGold.com or call 844-714-4653 right now. That's MikeLindellGold.com. Take back control. like everybody else out there, I have used my arm, folded my pillows, got migraines in the morning from